Which are the terms interchangeable? Taxonomy and systematics. Which of the following is true for metabolism? Metabolism in reactions can be demonstrated outside the body in cell-free system. All chemical conversions occurring in living organisms are biochemical reactors. The sum total of all the chemical reactions occurring in our body is metabolism. On three are correct. Heterotrophic eukaryotic organisms that are multicellular and their cells lack cell walls. They directly or indirectly depend on plants for food. Given characteristics is true for which kingdom? Answer is Animalia. Both morels and truffles are edible and considered delicacies. The middle central part of moss capsule is sterile and is known as columella. In an angiosperm, pollen grains are produced in sporangia. In non-endospermic seeds, food is stored in cotyledons. The coconut water and the edible part of coconut are equivalent to endosperm. Vascular bundle is conjoined, open with endarc protoxylem found in dicot stem. Cells are different molecular forms of a gene. In some viruses, DNA is synthesized by using RNA as a template. Such a DNA is called cDNA. Repetitive DNA sequence shows a high degree of polymorphism that forms the basis of DNA fingerprinting. Which dye is used to stain chromosomes? Acetocarmine, Felgen, Fuelgen, hematoxylin, all these are used for stain chromosomes. Tissue culture is beneficial for micropropagation, androgenic haploid, and production of disease-free plants. Pearl producing Indian species is P. vulgaris. The capacity of an environment to pull on a limited number of individuals is known as carrying capacity. Gross primary productivity is a rate at which organic molecules are used up by an autotroph. How do mycorrhizal fungi help the plants harboring them? By absorbs phosphorus from soil and passes it to the plant, increase the tolerance to saline and drought, and increase resistance to root-borne pathogens. Conservation within the natural habitat is in situ conservation. Recent reports of acid rains industrial cities are due to the effect of atmospheric pollution by excessive release of NO2 and SO2 by burning of fossil fuels. A sudden increase in carbon dioxide concentration around a leaf will cause decrease in transpiration due to closure of stomata. Transpiration is the evaporative loss of water by plants, which mainly occurs through the stomata in the leaves. It is possible to get a rough idea of the deficiency of an essential element in the soil without doing soil test. Answer is by noting the typical morphological symptoms of deficiency shown by plants growing in it. The set of three elements included fully in micronutrients is Fe, zinc, and copper. Which metal ion is a constituent of chlorophyll? Magnesium. Light reaction of photosynthesis takes place in grana. In mitochondria, oxidative phosphorylation occurs during electron transport. Kinetin is an adenine derivatives. Plant families grouped in order is mainly based on which character? Answer is floral. Viral domain is not included in the three domains system. Plants of this group are deployed and well adapted to extreme conditions. They grow bearing sporophylls in compact structures called cones. The group in reference is gymnosperms. Honey is made by bees by digesting pollen collected from flowers. Is a wrong statement. Collenchyma mainly forms hypodermis. Blender experiment to prove DNA as genetic material was performed by Hershey and Chase. The function of chromosomes of carrying the genetic information from one cell generation to another is performed by histones. Inbreeding is carried out in animal husbandry because it increases homozygosity. In which steps of glycolysis a water molecule is released, uh, 2-phosphoglycerate and phosphoenol and pyruvate. Why does Swiss cheese have big holes? Due to production of a large amount of carbon dioxide by a bacterium. The Earth Summit held in Rio de Janeiro in 1992 was called for the conservation of biodiversity and sustainable utilization of its benefits. Which of the following correct for translocation? Transport over longer distances proceeds through the vascular system, and transport over longer distance proceeds through the xylem and phloem. What is the role of calcium in plants? Formation of cell wall. The best description of icon is multicellular without any tissue organization. Whale, otter, and kangaroo. Which of the following is the glass sponges? Hexatinellida. The cartilage found in larynx, trachea, and bronchi is hyaline. Fat digestion is facilitated by bile juice. Some proteolytic enzymes are trypsin, peptidase, and pepsin. The muscular contraction in the alimentary canal is known as peristalsis. Name the pulmonary disease in which alveolar surface area involved in gas exchange is drastically reduced due to damage in the alveolar walls. Pneumonia. Carbonic anhydrase is found in erythrocytes. Will you define the lungs? Respiratory rhythm center. After a sperm has penetrated an ovum in the process of fertilization, entry of further sperm is prevented by formation of fertilization membrane. Two statements. One, during the growth of embryo, limbs and external genital organs is formed by the end of 12 weeks. Statement 2. The sex of the developing embryo can be determined using ultrasonography after 3 months of pregnancy. Both statements are correct. Gamete intrafallopian transfer GIFT is useful for female that does not produce eggs or ovum but can provide a suitable environment for fertilization and further development. B. Female that have blocked fallopian tube that carries ovum and fertilized egg to the uterus. Both statements are correct. Name the female condom introduced by Hindustan Latex and the Female Health Company of England in India. Femidome. Potato and sweet potato have edible parts which are homologous organs. Use of an artificial kidney during hemodialysis may result in reduced absorption of calcium ions from the gastrointestinal tract and reduced RBC production. Ammonia is the chief excretory substance in freshwater fishes. Human kidney can concentrate urine yearly by 4 times. Joints are found between parietals of skull. The total number of vertebrae in man is 26. The number of bones in the skull of man are 22. Diameter of pupil is regulated by muscle fibers of iris. The secretion of vagus nerve which decreases heartbeat. Acetylcholine. Adequate production of GH in early life produces dwarfism. Which hormone possesses anti-insulin effect? Cortisol. What percentage of total white blood cells represented by basophils 0.5 to 1%. Reduction in pH of blood will decreases the affinity of hemoglobin with oxygen. Blades in bioreactor helps in mixing of all the components and prevent their settling. While isolating DNA from bacteria, which of the following enzyme is not required? Deoxyribonuclease. Production of a human protein in bacteria by genetic engineering is possible because the genetic code is universal. Tissue plasminogen activator is an enzyme. Which of the following pairs of animals has non-glandular skin? Chameleon and turtle. In Periplaneta americana, males bear a pair of short thread-like anal styles. The number of salivary glands in man is 3 pairs. What structures are responsible for breathing process? Intercostal muscles and diaphragm. The first meiotic division in the oogonium is completed when the egg is within the follicle. The diaphragm, cervical cap, and wallets are reusable contraceptives. Both dinosaurs and crocodiles evolved from thecodonts. An advantage of excreting nitrogenous waste in the form of uric acid is that uric acid can be excreted in almost solid form. Striated and voluntary muscle fibers are found in leg muscle. In mammalian ear, a membranous structure which separates the scala vestibuli and scala media is Reisiner's membrane. Excess of GH in adult man causes acromegaly. The first clinical gene therapy was given for the treating rheumatoid arthritis. Matchings: eyes of potato, rhizome ginger, bulbo agave, leaf bud bryophyllum, and E offset hyacinth. Flippers of penguins and dolphins are examples of convergent evolution. The process responsible for facilitating loss of water in liquid form from the tip of grass blades at night and in early morning is root pressure. Globulate cells of alimentary canal are modified from columnar epithelial cells. The enzyme enterokinase helps in conversion of trypsinogen into trypsin. In water hyacinth and water lily, pollination takes place by insects or wind. The ovary is half inferior in a plum. BD cotton variety that was developed by the introduction of toxin gene of Bacillus thuringiensis BT is resistant to insect pests. Matchings: BT cotton, Bacillus thuringiensis, adenosine deaminase deficiency, gene therapy, RNAi, cellular defense, PCR, detection of HIV infection. Matching: inhibitory catalytic activity, malonate, possess peptide bonds, collagen, cell wall material in fungi, chitin, secondary metabolite, resin. The number of substrate level phosphorylations in 1 ton of citric acid cycle is 1. Another matching: floating ribs do not connect with the sternum, acromion, clavicle, scapula located between second and seventh ribs, glenoid cavity, head of the humerus.